Everyone, I found this channel, Bay Errot, and it's so good that I'm going to just play one of the videos on it without commentary. I'm just going to play it for your pleasure. He only has 67 subs. He's worth subscribing to. So let's get into this.
Allow me to clarify this situation in straightforward terms, for it may be quite elusive to those who have been indoctrinated with idealistic notions of romance by mainstream narratives like those promoted by Disney, with their belief in everlasting love and similar fantasies. If we examine the post, it mentions a husband who sells his PS4 console to finance an engagement ring for his wife. Post-marriage, she returns the favor by purchasing a new PS4 console for him. All this talk about true love, right? But let's address the first warning sign. Why must a man acquire an engagement ring prior to marriage? Why is he compelled to part with something he deeply values, his PlayStation, to provide his wife with a ring? This pattern sets off alarms. The underlying issue is that women fundamentally lack enjoyment in men's company. They don't seek out male companionship. Consequently, to persuade women into relationships, men find themselves resorting to financial incentives. This example typifies such a dynamic. If this couple genuinely experiences profound love and everything the post suggests, mutual adoration and deep connection, then why did the husband feel the need to relinquish his PS4, an item he values immensely and spends copious hours engaged with? Shouldn't the desire for each other's presence be enough? If they truly cherished one another as implied, living together should come naturally without the prerequisite of a costly symbolic gesture like an engagement ring acquired through sacrifice. Another notable point is that the woman acknowledges her husband's sacrifice by gifting him a new PS4 console. The husband sold his initial PS4 to purchase an engagement ring for his wife prior to their marriage. Recognizing this post-wedding, the wife compensates by purchasing a new PS4 for her husband, an act that many would interpret as a manifestation of true love, showcasing her deep appreciation for him. However, this scenario raises questions. If the wife had sufficient financial resources to buy an entire new PS4, why did she initially allow her husband to sell his original one to afford the engagement ring? With the means to purchase such an expensive gift, it's perplexing as to why she didn't prevent the sale of his beloved console, or perhaps even bought the ring herself. The distinction in their financial status seems inverted. Despite having the money, she let her husband sacrifice his treasured item, the PS4, to buy her an engagement ring. Consequently, this act doesn't seem to add up. If the wife indeed had sufficient finances, she arguably should have undertaken the ring's purchase. Instead, it was left to the husband to sell something valuable to afford an engagement ring, a decision that casts doubt on who is truly at a disadvantage in this scenario. If the woman is supposedly wealthy enough to purchase a new PS4 set for her husband post-marriage, it is curious why she remained passive or did not oppose her husband when he sold his PS4 to fund the purchase of her engagement ring. This foolish man, gynocentric and worshipful of women, used the proceeds from selling his gaming system to acquire an engagement ring for his leech wife. And obviously, it stands to reason that the aforementioned PS4 set was of equivalent value or possibly even more expensive than the engagement ring itself. This leads to the question of why she didn't take initiative and at least share the cost of the ring if she had the capacity to purchase a pricey gaming console later in their marriage. If the woman had the means for such a generous gift as a new PS4 further into their marriage, it implies she could have contributed financially to her engagement ring as well. Instead, she observed as the man sold his valuable gaming system for her ring. She required a form of payment from the man, a bribe. Some might assert that the gentleman purchased the engagement ring for his spouse as an unexpected gift. Hence, she was oblivious to the fact that he had to part with his gaming console to afford it. Yet, how could she possibly craft a social media update claiming her husband sold his PS4 to procure her an engagement ring? If she's supposedly in the dark regarding her husband's monetary sacrifice for the ring, what prompted her to disseminate a post acknowledging said sacrifice? It begs the question, did he reveal to her that he sold his PS4 for the ring? Picturing such a scenario is amusing. Imagine him approaching his fiancée with the ring in hand, and as she's exclaiming, "Oh, you're so sweet," he drops, "By the way, I sold my PS4 for this." Honestly, that's awkward beyond words. And look, I'm prepared to delve deeper into this narrative, to explore every nuance of the tale involving the couple. I will persist in my role as devil's advocate and propose that the engagement ring from the husband was an unexpected surprise, a gift the wife genuinely did not anticipate due to her husband's covert sacrifice. He sold his cherished PS4 console to purchase that ring. The woman probably discovered his PS4 was missing at some point after their marriage and inquired about its whereabouts, prompting the husband to reveal that he had sold it to finance her engagement ring. Granted, this is a plausible explanation. However, the issue remains. If their love was authentic and they relished each other's company, why did the man feel compelled to offer a lavish gift at the expense of his beloved PS4? Why surrender something that brought him so much joy for a mere piece of jewelry? The answer is stark. It was a bribing gesture, a price he paid for the woman's consent to wed. He repurposed his gaming console into an item of similar worth and relevance to women. Whether conscious or not, he essentially purchased her agreement to enter into matrimony with him. To acknowledge openly that he bought his partner's affection would be a bitter pill to swallow. Instead, he will likely try to rationalize the need to part with one of his most valued possessions, his PS4 set, as a means to earn a woman's affection and endorsement in his life, with convoluted statements like, "I wanted to demonstrate to my girl how much she matters to me, so much so that even my gaming console, which I acquired after slaving away for months at my soul-sucking job, pales in comparison to my love for her." Ironically, this would be a sincere and heartfelt testament because men truly go to great lengths to ensure a woman's presence in their lives, even if it involves trading their most valued possessions, be it consoles, houses, or vehicles. However, the sheer absurdity of the situation is the laughable aspect here. The irony is that women do not typically fancy men as much. Hence, women do not engage in such sacrifices when entering relationships with men. This is a one-sided dynamic because it begs the question, why wasn't it the woman who gave up one of her belongings as a prenuptial gift to the man she intended to spend her life with? Why was it the man presenting something prior to marriage, while the woman felt no compulsion to reciprocate and lure him into matrimony? And I'll tell you why. Because women don't have to. Men are inherently ready to welcome women into their lives from the outset, and will do virtually anything in their power to anchor that partnership, whereas women hold all the leverage. Okay, let's cut through the debate about whether the wife knew her husband sold his game console to buy her an engagement ring and get to the heart of the matter. The crux of the matter isn't solely that the man traded his gaming console to afford an engagement ring for his partner. Even if he had purchased the ring outright without needing to sell a personal possession, it would still signify a financial sacrifice on his part. Whether the funds came directly from his savings or indirectly through selling the console, he invested a portion of his own money to give the woman something valuable. So the specifics of how he obtained the money for the ring are inconsequential. When a woman receives a ring from a man, she understands its monetary value and assumes that he paid for it, supposing she's not a child. It's taken for granted that the man paid for the ring, essentially giving her something purchased with money. In essence, he's offering her money. It can be simplified as him bribing her. Therefore, if the woman truly aimed for an equal partnership and wished to demonstrate sensitivity and cooperation, she wouldn't have needed to discover that her husband's PS4 was missing. All along, she was perfectly content with the knowledge that the man gave her an expensive gemstone, knowing full well it was acquired with money. Learning about her husband's sacrifice only provided her with a convenient opportunity to create drama by buying him a new console, boosting her own ego in the process. Basically, all the comments on this post about how both partners in a relationship make necessary sacrifices and how they support each other are all crap. If a man and a woman want to be together, there shouldn't be any need for sacrifices. Sacrifices happen when someone needs to achieve something and has to pay a price for it. But if a man has his anatomy and a woman has hers, they should complement each other and live happily together. End of story. But here's the real deal. Women couldn't care less about a man's junk. Men are deluded if they think otherwise. Women don't give a damn about what's between a guy's legs. It's men who worship women and drool over their bits. This creates a dynamic where men need to win women over by bribing them because women don't see a man's penis as something valuable he brings to the relationship. Relationships between men and women are forced. This is why there's so much drama in relationships. And in this video, we explore one example of this dynamic. In a true love scenario, there'd be no fuss about sacrifice. The guy wouldn't need to sell his PS4 for an engagement ring, and later the girl wouldn't have to buy him a new console. It'd all be sorted from the get-go. The man's got the dick, the woman's got the pussy, and that seals the deal. But that's not how it plays out. The guy's born lacking compared to the woman. That's why he's the one who has to hustle, work his ass off, and bring stuff to the table in a relationship to make up for what he's missing. That's why relationships are like a one-way street for guys. Women hold the power. This situation hints that men must prove their worthiness through purchases, akin to bribes, for women to tolerate their presence. If mutual affection and regard were paramount, financial disparities would be inconsequential. They would cherish each other for their individuality, shared values, and companionship without the necessity of material inducements as conditions for coexistence. In genuine friendships or romantic partnerships, the expectation of reciprocation for time spent together is non-existent. It's worth noting, female friends do not charge each other for their companionship. They simply enjoy each other's presence without requiring a tangible reward. However, this dynamic does not extend to male-female relationships. Women require compensation to simply endure men's presence in their lives. Women inherently dislike men and only consent to their company if it comes with tangible benefits. Women have to be bribed into cohabitating or spending time with men. Some might contend that the reason the man sold his PS4 to purchase an engagement ring for his girlfriend was due to her lack of funds, asserting that it was only logical for him to make such a sacrifice. They may further argue that as she advanced in her career and accumulated wealth, she returned the favor by buying him a new gaming console, acknowledging his earlier gesture. Yet, this interpretation ignores a crucial point. The man was also not wealthy, since he needed to part with a prized possession, his PS4, to afford the ring. The logic that he alone should bear the cost because the woman was not affluent falls apart. If they were both in similar financial states, mutual sacrifices could have been made. She, too, could have sold personal items, perhaps a computer, makeup, or clothing, to contribute to the engagement ring. Moreover, they needn't have sold anything if love was their foundation. True affection is about companionship, not material exchanges. Expecting gifts as tokens of love reduces relationships to transactions, which, in fact, what they truly are. Welcome to reality. It is evident that the man was likewise financially challenged. However, this fact did not excuse him from the expectation of presenting the woman with an engagement ring, necessitating the sacrifice of his valued possession. If he had refrained from this gesture, she would likely have remained disinterested in his unattractive appearance. This plainly demonstrates that the primary reason she agreed to the relationship was because the man managed to effectively persuade her through this premarital transaction. Evidently, there's another aspect that shouldn't be overlooked, and I believe everyone is aware of this. Why post this favor you've done for your husband on the internet? The intent seems to be self-credit. If I bought a loved one a valuable gift, I wouldn't showcase it online or seek recognition for it. To me, witnessing the joy of the recipient would be sufficiently satisfying. However, this woman posts her acts online. Truth be told, women frequently engage in self-advertisement and self-promotion. Of course, she may not have anticipated her post gaining such widespread attention, but regardless of the number of viewers, it's evident that her main focus lies in promoting her own interests. Sharing such actions online speaks volumes about her character. If you ever post a favor you did for someone online with a caption like, "Look what I did for my spouse," or "I bought them a new PS4 because they sold their old one to buy me something before marriage," you're likely revealing selfish intentions. This should not be sugarcoated. Women, despite differing education levels, backgrounds, races, and nationalities, often exude similar attitudes. The key takeaway here is how the woman in question aimed to cultivate self-promotion and praise by displaying a photo of her husband with the new PlayStation 4 she purchased for him, all while harboring contempt for him. The man had to bribe the woman to accept him in marriage. That's the bottom line. Ultimately, men only receive favorable treatment from women when they abide by their rules and dutifully cater to their demands, a disheartening universal truth. Men, in the eyes of women, are often interchangeable. And when I express this, my assertion may be met with criticism from those men who are deeply rooted in their denial, accusing me of being detached from reality. They'll claim I haven't set foot on grass, that I'm clueless about the real world, overly pessimistic, but frankly, I'm unconcerned with their opinions of me. It's actually those who get upset upon facing the truth of their own predicament who are reacting emotionally. The point is not that every man is actively being replaced. A man's position is secure so long as he remains the most appealing choice among women's alternatives. This does not mean a man is destined for replacement. If he fulfills his role efficiently and plays the parts of protector and provider satisfactorily, she will continue to bear his presence. I'm not suggesting that all men will be replaced inevitably. However, this doesn't alter the fact that men are inherently disposable. The potential for replacement looms. Should you fail in your obligations or cease to maintain a woman's favor, her inclination to dissociate from you is undeniable. It's thus evident that while not every man is systematically replaced nor guaranteed to be in the future, this does not diminish the reality of men's potential expendability in relationships with women. This is what I mean when I state that all men are replaceable.